Good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you're doing well. My name is Jody. I'm sorry, guys. I'm fresh in from being in New Orleans for a week, and I keep losing my voice. I apologize. I didn't even know it was coming on that time. Anyway, I am Jody Jean Daniels. Welcome to my channel. And this is podcast day. So, welcome to Jody plus one, just Jody plus one. And today our guest is Kay Parquet. And I am super excited to talk to her. She's been one of my beta readers and longtime friends. So I will be honest though, I did not know some of the things I'm learning about her. So I'm really excited to learn more. And I want you guys to learn about her and her upcoming book and everything that's going on. She is amazing. So without further ado, I will bring her in and welcome her. Hey, hello,
Hello.
hello.
How are you
Welcome, welcome.
doing?
Good,
Thank you.
good. Good, 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 good. I am just super excited to have you here today.
I'm
Um,
excited to be here.
good, good. Um, I have several questions that I should know the answer to. But I don't. My first one would be your website mentions that you write in arcane punk genre. Can you explain to me and my viewers what that is?
So, arcane punk is a very small genre in the science fiction fantasy area.
Okay.
So, what arcane punk does is it combines both magic and science. So, yeah, so we're talking like steam trains that run with magic, or like cyborgs that run on magic, or stuff like that. So you're combining sci-fi and fantasy magic all at once.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I like that. I like that. I'm gonna pull us up so we can see us a little bit better.
sure.
Let, let me just change my angle. There we go. All right. Your book that you published on May of 2024, Unbound Pages, you are currently rebranding it.
Mhm.
What prompted that decision and what changes are you making?
Um, so after I published the book, I found from a lot of readers that reached out to me that there were some things that were slightly confusing, or that I could better by adding a little bit more, or putting back in some things that I had taken out. So it was just, it to me, it made sense. Not everybody's first book is going to be a hit.
Yeah.
So, I'm learning from my mistakes. It's a learning process, the entire thing, even for advanced authors, they're still learning. So for me, it was just okay, you know what? I'm going to take this off the shelf. We're going to make this even better. And because I first published it as a novella and not a novel, I learned that that's a big mistake. So that was another reason I took it off, to be able to rebrand it, because I'm adding two more novellas that I had planned to it and smashing them together into one book.
Oh, okay. Awesome. That's exciting. So, if it was adapted into a film, who would be your dream cast? Even if just for the main character, who would be your person?
See, this was a question I wasn't quite sure how to answer, because
Oh,
I don't watch TV and movies all that much. So I'm not greatly familiar with most people out there except the really big actors.
mm-hmm.
And I don't know, to be honest
You
with
don't
you,
know.
who I'd have. Yeah, I really don't.
Don't feel bad because my book is set in Bangkok, Thailand. And most of the characters that, when I was asked this question, I was like, people you've never heard of,
Yeah.
because they're all Thai actors that I watch in their the Thai dramas.
Oh,
So
cool.
I
Okay.
think it's the same, because I'm the same way. I don't watch TV, except tonight I will be watching Expedition X, and then I will watch Expedition Bigfoot.
Oh Lord.
Dan
Okay.
and I watch those two religiously because we find them so funny. He has renamed Finding Bigfoot, wandering around in the dark aimlessly, never finding anything. So, finally, about the book, and then we're going to get into you and what makes you you.
Okay.
Um, if you could encapsulate the essence of Unbound Pages in a single sentence, what do you think that would be?
Uh, um, unravel the magic, face the cost, and turn the page would probably be my sentence.
I like that. I like that. So, as far as your writing goes, not your artist stuff, but your writing.
Mhm.
What is the most unusual or unexpected source of inspiration you've encountered for your writing?
I think, to be honest, that gaming would be maybe. I mean, it may not be unusual, but I know a lot of writers like to read to get their inspiration, whereas I tend to go into games that have very story-rich worlds.
Okay.
Things like, and you probably don't know what it is, but Guild Wars 2 is a game that we play a lot. It's
Okay.
very, very story rich. I mean, the whole point I play it is for the story, not so much the game. So things like that, or Baldur's Gate, the Baldur's Gate series and
I
stuff
know
like
that
that.
one. Yeah.
Okay, well then you know what I'm talking about. It's got a
Yeah.
very story rich
Yeah.
background, and that's where I tend to get my
Okay.
inspiration from.
All right. That's so cool. That's so cool. That sounds very Sarah Cannon-esque.
Yeah.
Um, what's one thing your readers would be surprised to know about you?
Oh goodness. Okay, so believe it or not, I owned a business for 17 years. If you
Wow.
would never guess what it is, though, I'm sure it's dog training and pet sitting. Yeah.
Oh,
So I owned a
okay.
business for 17 years doing that in the DC area, and it was I loved that business so much. But I finally closed its doors in February
Yeah,
because
and
it kind of messed things up quite a bit with that. So
I remember you saying that. I remember you saying you were closing things down, but, to be honest, I just thought you were a trainer, a dog trainer. I didn't know that you did the pet sitting too.
yeah.
So that's when you get all the snuggles. That's the best job.
Yeah, and I was the weird one, actually. I liked, like, the reptiles and the the tarantulas and the spiders, tarantulas, the geckos, the
Mhm.
bearded lizards, all that
Mhm.
those were really my favorite ones to take care of because they were just parrots would be another big one for me. So exotics,
Yeah,
basically. Um,
exotics.
I I still took care of dogs and cats and, all the
Uh-huh.
regular stuff, but
Yeah.
exotics was my big thing that I like to take care of.
I have always been afraid of spiders until we moved here, and there was this tiny little spider. He's a wolf spider, and he was near his mom, and she, unfortunately, you could tell she had passed away.
Mm.
And I just fell in love with this little guy. He's a little bit fuzzy, so he was like this cute little, and he would follow you around like he thought he was a puppy or something, and he's still here. Um, it's like when Terminex comes, I like have this little thing, I catch him in, I make sure that he's safe. And
Oh my
I'm like,
goodness.
what do we do? What do we do? What do we do about Tiny? And Dan's like, Tiny will be fine. He'll be fine. So I understand about the spiders now. I used to be terrified. I'm still scared of almost all of them, but if it's Tiny, I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get it. If you had to describe your writing style, use three adjectives, what would they be?
Let's see. Atmospheric,
Hmm.
very character driven, and inventive, I guess would be a
Okay.
good word.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. That sounds fun. So your characters, when you are creating them, is it where you base them off of somebody that you've known in your life, or are they strictly from your mind?
I would say a mixture of both. Like Eudora, Adam, and Carlotta were all from up here,
Mhm,
whereas like I have a pen name I'm writing romance under right now, and I will
mhm.
fully admit that my husband is in there somewhere.
Fun. That is fun. That's fun.
So yeah, so sometimes it's a mix of both. It depends.
Sometimes it's a mix of both. Got it. Got it. Do you have a favorite spot or environment where you like to go write and that you feel the most productive in?
Right here, where I'm sitting right
Yes,
now.
where you're
This
sitting right
is
now?
my work desk, whereas we have an office too, with where we game
Mhm,
and stuff.
mhm,
And so this is my work desk, and
mhm,
I've put everything together here so that it's comfortable for me.
mhm,
And I know what I'm doing. I know where everything is, like my planners, my fan, my charger,
mhm.
everything, my coffee cup warmer, everything is here. So this is where I'm most comfortable doing that. That and it's out in the living room area. So
Mhm.
I wear noise canceling headphones most of the time. So for
Okay.
me, it's not noisy like some people might feel
Okay.
it is.
Yeah.
But for me out here, this is where we have like 6 windows. There's tons and tons of sun that comes in here. And it just makes me feel, yeah, it makes me feel more
Mhm.
like awake and alive so that I can actually sit here and do what I need to do.
Yeah, that's fun. I had never had windows in an office before because I just kind of set up wherever I could. And when we bought this house, my husband told the realtor, he goes, "It's very important for me that she gets an office to herself. So we need that extra bedroom. And I like to have big windows in it." And this was one of the last houses they brought us to. And as soon as I walked in this room, I was like,
This is it.
that's my room.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it. I get that. I love the light. I love the bright lights.
Hmm.
If you could live in any fictional universe, which one would you choose and why?
Star Trek, hands down, Star Trek.
Star Trek. Why?
Yes. My dad introduced me to the OG Star Trek when I was very small.
Captain Kirk.
And yeah, Captain Kirk, Spock, all of my first love, my first fanfic. I mean, because, you know, I grew up with all of them, all of the Star
Mhm,
Trek universes, but that
mhm.
one in particular sets very close and dear to my heart because my dad shared that with me.
Yeah.
And that really got me started on the journey of sci-fi. And I mean, who doesn't want to travel around the universe and meet new people and new
Yeah.
planets and stuff like that? And I mean, come on, food replicators, right?
Oh, yeah. I do remember that when I was little. I watched Star Trek was like my mom and mine's thing.
Hmm.
Um, Dad liked to watch the old westerns with me. And until he passed away, if I was at home and Magnificent Seven was on, I would call him and I would go, "Daddy, our movie's on." And we would watch it. We would be stay on the phone and we would watch the movie
Oh,
together.
that's
Yeah.
so
So
cool.
I get that. Daddies and their daughters.
Yeah.
Most yeah. As an artist, because some people may not know you're also an artist,
Mhm.
how much does your visual art influence your writing and maybe vice versa?
To be honest with you, I paint mostly pets.
Okay.
So that's just my specialty is pets. I wish I had a picture in the background I could show you, but anyway, um, I don't really use it in the way that maybe I paint it or draw it or anything like that. And
Mhm.
it's more of um, I really have it all up here. Like I visualize it in the way that I would say a movie, even though I don't really watch movies.
Mhm.
So I would kind of say that's the way I kind of visualize things with my art because, like, I went to school for a master's and an MFA, and a lot of those things that we did, like writing short stories and writing assignments and stuff like that, they said very much, visualize what you're trying to do, especially if you're someone like me who likes to go into the atmosphere, get into the characters, in the way that you know who these people are because of thoughts and actions and stuff like that. So it really helps me in that way to visualize it in my head like a movie. So that, I
Okay.
guess that's where my art comes in.
Okay. If you could possess any magical ability from your stories, which one would you choose and why?
I would have to choose Eudora's ability to control and listen to spirits.
Ooh.
That always fascinated me. I was in the helping profession for a very long time in the medical field, and working with older people, geriatric was I did Alzheimer's and dementia units. And I guess it's that working with those people and doing stuff like that really, really helped a lot with that
Mhm,
aspect of things.
mhm. Okay. Well, thank you for that. My dad had dementia, and it's a beast.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. It's very hard.
Hmm. Hmm. If he never forgot me, but he would say, "You are so sweet, and I just appreciate you, but you can't be my Tracy. My Tracy's only 3."
Oh no,
So,
yeah.
yeah, he thought I was
That,
really yeah, he still
yeah.
thought of me as a little bitty girl, but, yeah, he never forgot me, so that was always really special to me. If you could co-author a book with any writer, living or dead, who would it be?
Sharon K. Penman.
Okay,
She is a historic novelist.
okay.
Love her series. What's it called? I'm terrible at remembering series names. Um, Here There Be Dragons, I believe, is the first book.
Okay.
And it's
Mhm.
about the Welsh. I believe that one is either about um, King Arthur or uh, the Prince of Wales. I can't
Okay.
remember which one. Like before Wales was integrated into the UK. Like this was before when the Welsh were their own thing.
Okay.
So I love that series, and I love
Uh-huh.
her ability to just do world building and stuff like that. And
Uh-huh.
I would just love to be a part of that creative process with her.
Yeah. I would love to be I would love to co-write with someone who does the deep, deep world building. I
Mhm.
My books are kind of built, but since they're not fantasy, I don't have like a magical system I have to figure out and all these different things. They're just strictly sci-fi, but that does intrigue me as well as horror.
Mm.
I love a scare. I love a jump scare. Love that. So I'm kind of like, I was thinking like when I was coming up with these questions, I was trying to answer them myself and my answers kind of shocked me. So I was like, I wonder if Kay's the same way.
Yeah,
Mm,
definitely.
okay.
Yeah, I could see that.
Do you have any quirky writing habits or rituals that help get you into the creative zone before you begin to write?
Um, I think mine is probably a fairly boring ritual, to be honest with you, because I basically just sit down, I get my breakfast, my coffee, I sit
Mhm.
down, I light a candle, I turn on my fan, I make sure that I'm very comfortable where I'm sitting, and then I just start to write. But I need pomodoros. I have to have pomodoros. That's why I really enjoy doing the sprints that I do and
Yeah.
going to other people's sprints,
Yeah.
because I have got to have those pomodoros. I am late diagnosed ADHD, and I need that structure to
Yeah.
be able to do that. So I
Mhm.
guess if I was going to say that's a ritual, that would definitely be a ritual for me, is getting into those pomos.
Okay. I do that as well. I have found that I do better with the 45 minutes and 15 minutes off. It took me a long time to find that sweet spot.
Mhm.
Which ones do you like using best? 25, 30? What do you really
I
like using?
run I run 55s
Okay.
because I really like the 50. Well, what I do is I do 20-minute warm up, 50-50, and then 20-minute cool down, because my brain just works in that way where it's like, okay, I need the first 20 minutes to really get myself set up
Mhm.
first and in the mindset. And
Mhm.
then I can get into it in the 250s. And then in the
Mhm.
cool down, I can start wrapping up, getting myself settled for the rest of the day, which usually ends up being things like running errands and stuff like that. So,
Okay.
you know.
How long did it take you to get that, to know what your sweet spot was? Because it took me a
I
long.
Yeah, it took me a long time to be
Okay.
honest with you. It probably took me a year or two
Okay.
to really figure that out. And I mean, to be honest, half the reason I didn't change it in the very beginning was because I
Mhm.
was worried that people would not like that, because they were so used
Yeah.
to the 25 fives.
Yeah.
So I was worried about that, but I've actually been really surprised at how many people enjoy the 55s.
Okay.
So
That gives me hope for if I switch mine over. If you weren't a writer and an artist, what career path do you think you might have pursued? I think we
well,
know.
I kind of already, well, I don't know, you might not know. I kind of
Okay.
already followed this path a little bit. I was hired as a narrative director for a gaming studio who, unfortunately, I cannot mention due to an NDA, but I was hired as a narrative director for a gaming studio to help them with the story for their game. And
Mhm.
that, if I could continue in that path, unfortunately, the studio lost a lot of funding, so I was one of the first ones to go. But
Mhm.
if I could continue in that path, would freaking love it. Just be over the
Wow.
moon. So, yeah.
Yeah, I did not know that. I was gonna say that what I was gonna say your business that you just walked away from, that you retired from. Oh.
No, I was kind of a little burned out in the end with that, to be honest with you. So,
Mhm.
it was with the pandemic that kind of taught me, you know what? I love this business to death. Love it, love it, love it. I love my clients. I love the pets. I love everything about it. But it's time to close the doors, because I was getting to the point where it was like, um, I just woke up in the morning and was like, you know what? I don't feel like doing this today.
Yeah,
So I was getting really burned out there towards the end. So I don't know if I would continue with that business so much. I might be a consultant or something like that with a
okay,
business like that, but I don't know if I'd continue that business itself. No.
gotcha. Okay. What is your favorite way to unwind after, like, a long writing session?
I'm sure you could guess that one. It's gaming.
Gaming.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
gaming with my husband, playing like
Mhm.
cozy games or things like I said, Guild Wars 2, Baldur's Gate 3, stuff like
Yeah.
that. So yeah,
Helps
that's my
you, like,
biggest
get
way.
out of your writing mind and in back, into yeah.
A
I
creative
get
mindset and something that
yeah.
helps me just wind down, yeah.
What is the most challenging part of the writing process for you, and how do you overcome it?
Getting started,
Getting
just
started?
absolutely getting started. Yeah, because like I said, I was late diagnosed ADHD, and I've struggled with this my entire life, to be honest with you. It
Mhm.
just made more sense why I was struggling with it so much. So motivation is extremely difficult for people like me. And what I usually do to get into it is either read or game. Or game a little bit just to get
Mhm.
into the mood of things. And then I will read over like the last chapter I wrote to remember where I
Mhm.
was and kind of give me some push forward. And
Mhm.
that's usually how I get through it. Um,
Okay.
I would say, yeah, I would say that's, yeah,
The main thing is just your
yeah,
motivation. You just have to start. You have to find a
yeah.
way. How do you celebrate when you finish a book? Like, when you're done and you're sending it to edits, what do you celebrate in any way?
I would say if I celebrate at all, usually it's either sitting down to plot the next one, or it's sitting down and having a nice dinner with my husband and, like, something like, I don't know, a bottle of sour beer or wine or something like that, so,
Okay. Okay. The
you know.
I My husband is really good about I have a plotting wall, if you will, but it's not plotting, it's my this is when I would love to have this done.
Mm-hmm.
and a calendar, and he periodically will check it and just be like, "So are we going to go to dinner Friday night? Are we celebrating, or do we need an extension?" So yeah, I get that. I get that. If you could have dinner, speaking of dinner, if you could have dinner with any three literary characters, who would they be and what would y'all talk about?
There are so many. So many. I would have like a party going on. But if I do I have to choose somebody else's book?
No, it can be your own book.
Well, I would love to sit down with Eudora, Carlotta, and Adam and ask them questions to kind of develop their characters more and really get to know them
Mhm.
more than I think I know them already. Just have
Okay.
like a casual conversation about their days. How does the magic work for one thing? Or
Mhm.
Adam, he's a cyborg of types. How does he function? How does he come to terms with being sentient? How does, there's just so much that, yeah.
That you would love to know about your own
Yeah.
characters. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool. When you can view your character as, so you kind of view your characters as individuals. They're
Yes,
real.
absolutely.
They're real.
Yes.
Okay. I love that. What is the best piece of writing advice you've ever received, and who gave it to you?
Well, she didn't really give it to me. It was more of a Sarah Cannon coffee
Yeah.
chat, basically.
Mhm.
And I watch quite a few of her coffee chats, and if you don't, you should. But um, she said something once, and it stuck with me. It's been, I think, probably a year or two since she said it,
Mhm.
and I know it's a play off of another quote. I think it's Eleanor Roosevelt, I think is
Mhm.
the original quote. But creative comparison is the death of creativity. What
Yes.
Sarah said, and Eleanor said, comparison is the thief of joy,
Mhm.
which is still very true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those two, they weren't really given to me, but of those two, those definitely she when she said that, I was like, you know what?
Mhm.
I need to stop doing that because I compare myself constantly and then I get
Yeah.
imposter syndrome and you know how the whole thing goes.
Yeah.
So um, I really took that to heart. And that was something that I was like, you know what? I really need to listen to that myself because I
Mhm.
give that advice to other people. It's not fair for me to do what I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
So it's not fair for me to be
Mhm.
like that.
Mhm.
And so I really try to practice that myself.
Mhm. Sarah, mine is also from Sarah, and it is progress, not perfection. That's
Mm-hmm.
what we're after. We're after progress, not perfection. So, yeah,
Yeah.
Sarah gives. I tell you what, she's got some jewels. What is what is your favorite underappreciated novel that you think everyone should read?
Okay, I had to write this down.
Okay.
So give me a second here. Okay, there are a ton that I could say, but
Mhm.
the three books in a series, a trilogy that I would really highly suggest. I'm not sure if it has an overall series title, but the
Mhm.
books are called Shift, Dust, and Wool by Hugh Howey.
Okay.
And they are excellent books. They
What
talk
genre?
about sci-fi for sure.
Okay. Okay.
Post-apocalyptic sci-fi. I know
Ooh, okay.
something like that.
Yeah.
Um, but they talk about the world, and it's been a while since I read it, but if I remember correctly, they talk about a world where nuclear war has basically happened, and
Mhm.
basically the rest of civilization is living in bunkers underground, and we're having to adjust, but still have the same political systems in place
Mm.
that we have now. So it's a very interesting world that I thought was just so cool. And it may be a popular series and I just don't know it,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
it's
You
one that I
loved it.
never really heard anybody mention. So
Mhm.
yeah.
That's the one. Your Instagram bio says that you're sleeping by day, artist, and writer by night. Are you nocturnal? Are you naturally nocturnal? And has this schedule evolved?
It depends on what you want to call evolving. So I don't stay up as late as I used to anymore. I guess I'm just getting too old for that now.
Welcome to
But
my world.
I know.
Woo,
I've been,
the closer I get to 55, the earlier my
the
bedtime
lower it
gets.
goes. Girl, I'm in bed by 8, 9 o'clock half the
Yeah,
time.
me
So
too. 9 o'clock.
it's like I gotta go to bed. I'm about to die.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with that is I don't sleep very much in the first place. My average is usually about 5 to 6 hours. So you can
Wow.
imagine 8 p.m., 3 a.m. is about where
You wake up.
my sleep schedule is. Yeah. So
Mhm.
I wouldn't so much say I'm nocturnal unless you want to combine that with early bird.
Yeah.
So, so
So
it has kind of changed.
it's kind of shifted for you then. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
shifted.
It has for me too. One of the reasons I was so excited about having my own office is I used to really get into the groove and write between 9 and midnight, 1 a.m. But I did not realize that was really because I got to clean my glasses. I have boy eyelashes. They're so long that my eyelashes will hit my glasses and make little
Oh my
marks.
goodness.
But I realized, I was so excited, going to have my own office. I can stay up late and write. And we moved into this house on November 18th. Do you know how many times I've stayed up late?
Once.
Yeah, I just don't do it anymore. I'm just like, I get up early in the morning and start my day. And by 4, I'm like you. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to bed at
Mhm.
8. I'm going to bed at 9. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is our last question, and it is: are there any upcoming projects or genres you're excited to explore in the future? And this is where I just turn the floor over to you and you do your promo, girl.
Okay. I will try my best. I'm not that good at
Okay.
talking about myself, but um, I do have Unbound Pages hopefully coming out again in June or July
Okay.
because I am going to the Right Women's Fest in up here in Bowie,
Okay.
Maryland, and so I want to have it published by then. We'll see if it happens. If it doesn't, whatever, it's fine.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
I'm not gonna push it
Okay.
because I want it to be right.
Yeah.
So I'm not pushing it. I am writing under another pen name as well for romance, which surprisingly for me is romance because it's not one of my big genres to read. I read it, but it's not a huge one. Like I'm
Mhm.
sure some romance readers read a lot of
Mhm.
romance, and
Mhm.
that's cool because that's what you should be doing.
Right.
Um, but I don't read a ton of it. I've got more and more into it,
Mhm.
and I'm really enjoying it more than I thought I would, to be honest with you.
Yay.
So, yeah, so I'm writing a romance series. I'm doing shorts for like Kobo Plus and stuff like that.
Okay.
Um, so I have 6 written so far. I started January 1st. I've written 6 so far. And I'm hoping to release every 2 months. So that way I can have like a year now that I've gotten 6 of them written to kind of
Yeah.
write more. And it's a shared universe. So I'm excited
Mhm.
about that. Um,
What does that mean?
a shared
So
universe. So let's see if I have one couple. Yeah, one couple. I have one couple, and they get connected to another couple, and that
okay,
couple
okay.
gets
And then
connected to
that
another
goes,
couple,
then they're your main characters.
and it just keeps
Oh,
going.
I
Yeah.
love those. I love those. You need to tell me where those are. Tell my viewers where they can find you and find these books and all this good stuff.
Well, the pen name is not out yet. I haven't launched it, so I don't want to
Okay.
say that one just yet. But if you want to go to my website, it is kayparquet.com.
Okay.
That is Parquet. So just in case.
Okay.
And you can go to my newsletter on Substack and a couple of other places that I am present. But beyond that, in YouTube, I'm not really present many other places. I'm still
Okay.
working on that.
Send me all of your links and I'll be sure to I'll add them to the description
Okay.
on this one when I put it
Okay.
up. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's already up, but I mean, I can add it into the description.
I gotcha.
That'll be
I
fun.
understand.
But yeah, I am super excited that we got time to spend together today. I am still overcoming last week. So if my energy's off, guys, I apologize. I am the tiredest old lady in the world. Y'all know I walked from here to the kitchen and I walked all over New Orleans. Sarah, God love her. She was so good. She stayed with me. Like I walk at like everybody else is 20 feet in front of us. And she's sitting there, here, just lean on me and giving me her. I'm like, and just stayed right with me. What I will not leave you. So that was fun. But Kay, I tell you what, girl, getting up to talk to you this morning was the only thing that got me out of bed.
Oh no, now I
Like,
feel
oh, I
bad.
said, no. I was like, I'm so excited to talk to Kay. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it.
Well, I'm glad we got to talk because we don't get to talk very often face to
I
face.
know.
So,
I know.
you
We
know,
just
type a lot.
keyboard. Yes,
Yeah,
keyboard
keyboard.
princesses. Yeah. But I am super excited that we got to do this today. And I just want everybody to know, all my viewers, if you are not checking her out, oh, wait, that's the wrong way. If you are not checking her out, go check her out. I'm going to put all the links and everything below in the description in just a few minutes. And subscribe to her YouTube, follow her on Instagram, do all the things because she is fantastic. And I love her.
I love you too.
Thank you, baby. All right. So, y'all know what I'm going to say before I say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. I may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I am a particular group of people's double shot of whiskey. And I'm so happy and I'm so proud that you come and hang out with me and that you find me just right. Thank you for spending this time with us today. We love you and we will see you next time. Bye.
Thank you guys. Bye.